Okay, it's time to look at some finance and numbers. So what we're going to dive into now is the basics of calculating your product cost and your business operational cost, and then working out really how many units you need to sell, how we structure that, and how to know whether you're tracking any good. So let's dive into it. I'm just going to share my screen here so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay. So what we've got here is just a basic thing. We're calling our product that we're going to sell the Thingy 4000. So this little sheet is just to give you a look at how the numbers and economics break down when you look at the cost of a product inside a business and the business itself and how we can make money with that. So the very first thing we need to do is over here, we need to look at the cost of the thing. Now these highlighted cells here, these are already got a calculation built into them, so we don't need to go and touch them. It reminds me I actually need to change that one because I added a couple more to the bottom of that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work out how much our thing costs. And our thing is going to be the total of all of the parts involved in whatever the thing is. So if this is a product, then it is your raw purchase price, plus, as you can see here, you might have postage and freight. It may be a product that you are actually constructing or assembling, in which case it's going to be all of the individual parts are going to be the cost that you need to account for in here. So you might have what are we going to have? We're going to sell a pen. Let's use the old marketing adage, and we're going to sell you that pen. So the pen itself, let's say it's going to be an expensive pen here. Let's make it, it's going to cost us $220 to buy the pen. Let's do it in order. So I'll just zero these out so you can see how this is going to work. And let's get started. Okay. So let's say that our base product that we're going to resell is going to be that pen. And let's say it's going to be $50 for the pen. Now we're going to get some engraving done. Now down here, we've got our business operational costs, and we do have a section here, which is an outsourced team, which is another business. Excuse me. If the outsourcing is going to be something you can pay for per item, so it may be like what I'm going to do here. Let's consider a pen. We're going to get it engraved. So the engraving is going to be a per item cost. So put that up here with the actual cost of the item. So let's say it's, I don't know what engraving is going to cost. Let's call it $18 to engrave the item. Okay, we're going to find a beautiful little box to put it in. It's going to cost us about $22 for the box to put it in because it's a really lovely box. It's going to present really well. That's probably about all we'll have with our pen. Postage and freight. Now this would be, let's grab this one here. Let's say freight to us, and let's say we're ordering these pens in batches of say 100 at a time. Then what we would do is just take our cost and we would divide that by 100 to work out what the freight to us is per item. So let's say it's about $2. And then our freight to send it to the customer, it's going to be $5. So now we have our total cost of the pen is $97 to us. This is what it costs us to get that to the customer. Now, a markup, let's have a look. We think we're going to be able to sell this to a pretty high-end market where we've got our market in mind that we're going to aim for. We know that pens in that are going to range from, say, $100 through to $250. So we want to create a bit of a premium product without being crazy high. So let's go, we probably want to be somewhere around $180, $160, somewhere in there. We're already $100 in cost. So let's say, where does 30% markup go for us? Okay, so once we put in our markup here, it's going to change this cell here as our retail cost. So we could go a bit higher. Let's say 40, 135. We were thinking, what if we go to 60, 155? That's probably not bad. So we're going to sell it for $155.20 for a 60% markup, which is not a bad markup. Especially on a product like this, it's a good markup to be in there. Okay, so you can see here below it, we have the gross profit of our item. So we're going to sell it for 155, and out of that, we'll make $58.20. Now, the next part, which is separate to all of that, is our business operational cost per month. So this is where we need to look at all our overheads. So first thing we're going to look at is labor. So if you're going to take a wage for yourself, then put that in there. If you have somebody else involved in this process, you might have a VA, you may have somebody working, packing orders or something for you. Let's say somebody's in there part-time. You're going to pay them about $500 a week. So on a monthly basis, we've got $2,000 for that second person, and that's all your business is at the moment. So that's fine. Let's have a look here. Outsourced team. Now, this is any kind of outsourced business that you engage into your business. So let's say this is a marketing business. So we're going to get a marketing agency to work for us. Our contracted cost with them is $1,500 a month. And that's probably all we're going to run outsourced at the moment. You could outsource a number of other factors in your business. You would just add more items in there. Now, where are we? Are we at home? Are we just renting a room? Are we working out of the shed, or are we actually renting an office space? So let's say that we've managed to co-rent a little workspace to run the business out of, which is mainly to do our admin and pack a few orders. So let's say that we're going to get a little shared space for about $250. Sorry, this is monthly, so that would be $1,000 a month if it's $250 a week. Monthly for electricity, $300. Other utilities, if it's a co-workspace, you may not have any. Generally co-workspace, we'll leave electricity in there just for fun. Phone, $120, internet, $80. This is a month. Accounting software, job management software, CRM. Now, potentially your job management software and your CRM, if you're running this pen business, you may not need a job management software. A CRM will probably take care of everything that you need. Probably no other software that we need to do. Are we going to put us and our little worker in a uniform? Sure, let's call it $100 a month for a budget there. And tools and equipment, things that are going to break, things that we need to replace. We're going to have a monthly budget of $100 in there that we're just going to put aside for upgrading or replacing tools and material, or more so tools as we need it. So when we scroll back up the top of here, we're now looking at, we know what the cost of our item is. We know our gross profit. And then we are looking at how many of these things do we need to sell per month to break even? Okay, we need 177 of them. So it's costing us $10,335 per month to run the business. And our item is costing us $97 per item. So our sale price over here, that means that we need to sell 177.6, so 178. So if we say 178 items here, we will make $24 profit. That is terrible. So this is the profit in the business. This is what is going to allow you to expand the business, increase your marketing, increase your paid advertising, all of that kind of thing. So $24 is woeful, and that's not where we should be aiming. So let's change this number down here and see what we think we could do. If we think we've got a good chance of selling, say, 250 pens per month, then we've now got a profit of $4,000. If we could up that to 500 pens per month, we're at $18,000, $18,765 in profit. That is much healthier. So now we know what to aim for. We know what it's going to cost to pull that off. Now, this is where you'll need to go through this little process a few times, because when you think through your business and you're doing your planning and you go to sell 500 of those units, I'm probably going to need more than just me and the part-time kid that we've got over here. I think at that time I would need another full-time person to help me run the business. So let's say that person is going to cost us around about the same as what we're paying ourselves per month. So let's say it's another $4,800 per month. Now we need to sell 260 per month just to cover our costs, because we now have more wages in there. And if you notice at 500 units, our profit dropped from 18,500 down to just shy of 14,000 because that's going over here in wages. And so if other costs are going to increase as you step up, then this is a really good little way to build a calculator to go, where do I want to head with my product? We really, on something like this, we want to aim for our 500 units per month. Okay. And then we're going to look at how we're going to structure that, how many people we need. If we go, okay, with that arrangement, we've got 3 team members. Now, to go to 1,000 units may actually not be that much more work for you. You may have a system in place by then and go, look, if we went to 1,000 units per month, then we probably only need, well, maybe we need somebody who's a bit more skilled. We're going to get somebody who is going to be, we're going to pay them more, and they're going to help us really lift the business to get to that $1,000. Plus, our marketing at that point is probably going to go to 3,000 a month to really get enough people in, in front of us. We're going to have, we're going to have to buy laptops and other bits and pieces. So really, when we get down into here, we're probably going to need to, increase our costs in here. Let's pick one of these. I mean, any of these fields will work, but for example, let's say computers and software, we're now going to be at $1,500 a month in our budget for everything computer and software related. So now at 1,000 units, we're making good profit. We're at $33,000 or 33,500 a month in profit in the business. So that's great. And we now know that we've got the right people in place. That would be enough people to sustain it. We know that we're covering our marketing costs. We know all of our other costs in the business are all taken care of. Okay, this would be a really good number to aim for. This is where we need to be. And so now you can see how your business is going to work, how much you need to sell. The other thing that you can look at in this kind of a model is if we go back up to the markup here, and let's say you're only working at a 40% markup, all of a sudden that big profit we had is down to 14,000 just because we don't have as much markup. So knowing how much markup you need to have, keep in mind you need to be competitive in the marketplace. If you are miles ahead of everybody else and you're not providing any additional value or any additional benefit that people really see and understand, then you're going to be hard pressed to sell above, 80% from the top of the marketplace, remembering you're the new player. So people don't know you, you haven't built trust and reputation yet. So it means that people are going to be skeptical anyway. So it's very difficult to come into the market at the top end. So you do need to be price conscious to make sure you fit into the market in a place where it's going to be cost effective. You may decide this 40% markup is going to put your price point somewhere where you're actually going to sell a lot. And rather than selling 300 units at a high markup and high margin, you may be better off to sell 1,000 units at a lower markup, knowing that you can sell more. So these are strategies that you need to consider when you're looking at your pricing. But this at least allows you to map out all of your cost versus the cost of your product, how much you need to sell to make it work. So just as a quick experiment, because I know not everybody is playing in the small figure item that they're selling. Let's say someone's doing bathroom renovations, like my other business where we are doing off-grid solar systems, where you're into the tens of thousands per item bracket. This same process still works. So let's say I'll work off my business because I'm more familiar with my numbers there. So actually, let's take a stab at when it was a bit smaller. So let's drop a little bit of the wages out. So I know roughly what the numbers were back then. It's probably only doing that because we were doing marketing in-house. We were at about 1,200 there. Electricity, water was about 150. Internet, computers were probably at about 500. We did have a job management software, was about 120. On top of that, that was about there, and that was about 500. All right, that's a rough look there. Now, we're looking at about 25% margins. However, my cost here, actually, let's just zero these out. This is all very round numbers, but it will give you the idea. Cost to create the thing, we're looking at about 32,000, 25% markup. So we're selling it for 40,000. We've got a gross profit of 8,000. Now we need to sell 2 of these items per month to cover our costs. So we're going to go back to 4, which was our initial target. When we basically launched, we wanted to get to 4 units per month as our base sort of hold rate in the business, as our baseline to build from. So with this arrangement here, we had our target of 4 units per month. We know we have to sell 2 units per month just to break even. But if we could get to 4, then we have a monthly profit of about $16,000, which is good, especially starting off. And it's not too unachievable in a smaller business with the team that we had, with the marketing that we had, to be able to hit this kind of a price point where we are at about that 25% markup, where we are selling at about that $40,000 mark and having sort of $16,000 a month as our total profit at the end of everything. So you can see here, if we doubled that, let's say we get to a point where we're selling 8 units per month. But very quickly, we're nearly at $50,000 a month in profit just by upping to 8 units per month. So that's 2 sales per week, which actually isn't that hard to do. But it shows you how quickly you could then scale. Now, the flip side of that is that if I then needed to bring somebody on who is trade qualified, because we're talking about a working in the solar space, someone who's a qualified electrician, qualified in solar, got some experience, you're going to be talking about 120,000 a year. So if we divide that by our 52 weeks a year, yeah, they're at about, oh, sorry, I did my numbers wrong there. 120,000 divided by 52. 4. So 9,230. If I need to bring someone in here at this point, 9,230, now all of a sudden, our 8 units per month is becoming more of a requirement than it is a lovely futuristic target. As you can see, our profit is dropping notably because we've needed to increase our staffing costs. So by having this calculator, it allows you to see what happens at that next stage. If my costs go from where they are now to what I'm planning over here, and I add these other things into it, what does that do to my budget? This is critical for knowing whether you have a business that is sustainable, because oftentimes what happens, if we go back to the start of here, we think, okay, it costs 32,000 to build the thing, and we're going to sell it for 40,000. That's great. I'm making $8,000 per sale. I only need 1 per month. When you plug all your other costs in and come look at it, oh, I need to sell 3.2. I need to sell 4 per month. Wow. Okay, I need to sell a lot more than I thought. And most times, if you haven't done your numbers before, you'll be surprised you actually need to sell quite a bit more than you first think to cover all of your actual overheads and costs in the business. Now, word of caution when you do this, make sure you put every single cost you can think of. If you can, try to get your accountant, if you've been running your business for more than 12 months, try and get a breakdown from your accountant on what your business expenses have been for the year, and simply divide that by 12, and you can put it in as a single figure. This is what my monthly costs have been, and we know how much we're selling our product for, and see how it maps out. If you're forecasting and building a future plan, then put in everything that you can possibly think of. Do you need to allow for a new set of boots every 12 months or every 6 months? That would be 2 a year. Take the cost of what it's going to be in the year, divided by 12. That's our monthly cost. We're working on monthly costs. And it's best to work on monthly costs because it's going to give you a good average. So some weeks are up, some are down, but on an average over a month, this is what our business is looking like. And we know how to track. At the end of each month, we can kind of look back and go, okay, how did our sales go? How many did we actually close out? And that is going to give you a really good look at your business or your growth plan for your business just by remapping these figures. I will create this as a shareable Google Docs. It will be just down in the school platform there. There will be a file link that you can download this. It will be a locked sheet, so you just go to File here, go to Make a Copy, and then you can put it wherever you like and create the copy. So you're welcome to grab this sheet and then you can play around with it and make your business design based on actual figures rather than just guesswork.